know, Mark.
Yeah, how are you? Good. How are you? Oh, good. Well, they have their own organization.
Right.
She's not us.
No, but related to what we talked about. Yeah, right.
We
okay.
are here together. I'm honored and humbled to just introduce our dear friend Jill Yaguanis Claus is going to give an Indigenous Thanksgiving address and blessing to open us up. Jill.
Trent Yapnado Escanaha, Wakajanet, Wakaka, Pitchathe, Yaguanis, Scaronet Gayadakra, and Rockwees, Isa said that. It's an honor to be here today to open this wonderful and monumentous gathering we have here of our hearts and our minds. And first, we'd like to give thanks. I'm going to teach you something a little bit about our culture and our point of view and how we look at the natural world. And I'm going to do this in the English so that you can carry these teachings with you, so you can understand why it is so important to take care of this natural world. First, we'd like to give thanks and honor and acknowledge the people, all of the people that couldn't be here today, that are sick, that are not able to be here for whatever reason. We acknowledge them and we give thanks that we're all here today, healthy, and we're able to walk here. Or with the help, we have chairs, or we have each other to help. So we give thanks for all the people here today. We bring our hearts and our minds together as one. So lift your ears up for all we're going to listen to today. We give thanks for our Mother Earth and everything she gives to us. Yes. It's a giveaway. Our beautiful breath of life and this wonderful water and all this delicious food that we get to eat and sustain ourselves, our bodies, our hearts, our families. Thank you, our Mother Earth. We give thanks to you. And we honor and acknowledge as we bring our hearts and our minds together today and lift our ears to give thanks to you, our Mother. We give thanks to the waters, the sacred waters of life. We give thanks to you. We talk to you as you were here in the beginning of time. And we talk to you in all that you have given to us. Everything. We come from our mother's wombs in water. We come from water. We are water. We give thanks and we bring our hearts and our minds together as one now to give thanks for that sacred water of life. We give thanks to the plants and we give thanks for the natural world and those plants that are on the ground that cannot walk, but they still live and they grow, just like you and I. And we give thanks to every blade of grass that grows. And we bring our hearts and our minds together as one now to acknowledge all the plants, all the medicine plants that keep us healthy, all the medicine plants that keep us well. And we give thanks now, today, to bring our hearts and our minds together as one to give thanks. And now we lift our eyes up through creation a little bit to give thanks for those animals that walk on the ground, those little ones, the four-leggeds. We acknowledge them now as our relative. And we give thanks for all those relatives that can't speak. And we are there for them. And they are there for us. They nourish us. They give us companionship. We acknowledge this in the natural world. We give thanks for the four-legged animals, the deer, the leader of the animals. We give thanks, and we bring our hearts and our minds together as one today, so that we may give thanks for this, our relatives. As we raise our eyes up through creation, we give thanks for these gentle winds, these winds that are so powerful they could blow all of these buildings down. And we give thanks for how gentle they are today, that just lightly touches the baby's face. And we can be peaceful here today and enjoy these wonderful, gentle winds. And we acknowledge these, our ancestors, for these peaceful moments that we get to gather here, to bring our hearts and our minds together one, lift our ears up, and pay attention to the speakers, giving us gentle, gentle reminders that we are all here. As we continue to lift our eyes up through creation, we give thanks for the thunder beings, and we give thanks further on up as we acknowledge the sun. The sun where we can see each other's smiles. The light of day that brings so much energy to us all. Makes life alive. We give thanks to our elder brother, the sun, and we acknowledge his giving, that he always gives. We never have to pay back other than just to say thank you. We offer our thanks, and we give our thanks this way. When we bring all our hearts and our minds together as one now to give thanks to the sun, our relative. And next to the moon, our grandmother. She watches over our 28-day cycle. She is our grandma. She watches over us. She has guided each and every one of us to be here today through our ancestors and for the ones that are coming. She watches over the ones that are coming, and we bring our hearts and our minds as one to give thanks to our grandmother the moon and all of her teachings, of her gentleness. And we honor and acknowledge the stars, our ancestors. They guide us in the night. They remind us of our place in this great universe and galaxy that we are from. We give thanks to all the stars out there, our ancestors as well. So we are once again bringing our hearts and our minds together as one to acknowledge our place in this creation. And then we raise our eyes up to the four protectors, the sacred beings. We honor and acknowledge them and say Yahweh, 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 Yahweh to our four protectors that have guided us and protected us all. And we give thanks to them. And as we are very, very grateful to the sacred beings. And we bring our minds to the Creator, the most important of all creation, that is in each and every one of us, in our sacred Mother of Earth, and all through us all. We give thanks to this great mystery, this great Creator of life. And we bring our hearts and our minds together as one. Yes, we give thanks to the Creator. And as for blessings on today, lift your ears up and listen to the words that are said today. Take them to heart. What is your responsibility? How can you help make things a little bit better in this world? Well, and I turn this back over to you. I want to say thank you.
So we're very glad and grateful. Well, first to Jill Yaguanis for giving us this wonderful Ganoño. Please thank her so much. Tuscarora. She is Tuscarora, and we are very well represented here with wonderful, wonderful Indigenous, blessed colleagues and friends and sisters, brothers. And we are so glad and grateful that the wonderful Women's Resistance Revival Chorus is here. Please give them a big hand. We have the famous, wonderful, giving and joyous Drea Denor is here. Please give her a big hand and turn it over to her.
See Thank you so much. We are so honored to be representative of Western New York. We are the Women's Resistance Revival Chorus of Western New York, and we are so honored to be here. We do meet at the Buffalo Penny Arts Center. If you want to join us and you identify as a woman, you are welcome. We don't care what you look like, we don't care what your religion is, we don't care what your orientation is. If you're a woman and you stand for justice and you stand for change, we want you in this chorus. Our next performance will be March 9th for International Women's Month at the Buffalo Penny Arts Center. Stay tuned. Thank you for having us.
Please give the Women's Resistance Revival Chorus everything they deserve. Go ahead. Woo! Okay, so those were our pre-march preliminaries, and they were very luminary to me. So I'm Vicki Ross. I'm the director of the Western New York Peace Center. We are thrilled and honored to be, to have helped organize this with so many people working so hard. I want to say the mayor, who will speak shortly. We have Stand Up Western New York and lots of people who made a particular sister district and Tom McCarr. We were talking. So a lot of people, and our 35 co-sponsors, our many speakers, and all of you. So I just, as Yagwani said, and as we heard from the singing, as we know in our hearts, we're all in this together. And we are one in the spirit. We are here to stand up for principles, for people and the planet. Not profits, not violence, not grabbing, but being our higher, better selves. Now, all last year, since we were gathered right there in the Niagara Square, for almost 4,000 of us. Do you remember? We've been still resisting all year long. And one of the things that's kept me going is that thought of what Dr. King said. I believe, say it, that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. That's what we're here for. So I want to add power with instead of power over. Power with each other, shared power, working together, cooperation, all those things. Power with, not power over, and uniting the struggles. So I'm honored to, I'd just like us to take 1 minute to just inspire and to breathe together, if we could, just that one spirit. So breathing in, really do it, hold it, and Breathing out twice as slowly. Let's just have 2 more times. They're one in the spirit. So, thank you. So, I'd like to invite one of our social work, UB School social work interns, Dylan Schlosser. Dylan, you want to come over? Dylan is a wonderful, he's been working very hard and helping us so much in every way, including as a trans person. We have been learning a lot from Dylan, so please give Dylan, he's going to introduce, so please give Dylan a big hand.
Hi everyone, it's my pleasure to introduce Tanya Lockheed. She is a professor of philosophy and also chair of the Gender Studies Department and chair of our Gender Justice Task Force here at the Western New York Peace Center. So let's give a warm welcome to Tanya Lockheed.
Welcome everybody. This is beautiful from where I'm standing. I just want you to know that. Other than in DC, it's the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. I want you to hold on to that. I wrote a couple of chants. You know, there's lots of classics, but we got to throw a couple new ones in there. So the first one is kind of a call and response, so I want you to join in. It goes like this. Together, we resist. Together, we rise up. 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 All right, I got another one. Goes like this. Don't settle. Stick together. Another future is possible. 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 Woo! All right. Gotta get some chants going. All right. I actually thought of the chants first and my comments second. But my comments are going to center on 2 concepts. 1, sticking together. And 2, not settling. We're not settling anymore. We're sticking together and we're not settling. There is a renewed energy since Trump was elected. We know that both Buffalo and the U.S. have recorded their largest protests in history a year ago. We also know, and we know, that things were also kind of shitty before Trump was elected. Women weren't equal. Black lives didn't matter enough. There was no queer or trans justice. And there wasn't economic fairness either. We also weren't fighting global warming. So, all right, maybe things are about 20% shittier now with Trump. Maybe. And trust me, I know that 20% sucks. But here's the thing. We aren't fighting to restore that 20%. We're not going back to the way things were just before Trump was elected. Because a lot of people have begun to wake up from the slumber they've been in for far too long. And we're not fighting just to get back that 20% of justice and dignity. The people are waking up, and we want it all. economic equality. We want justice and dignity for all persons of color. We want queer and trans justice. We want dignity and fairness for all dreamers and refugees. And we want total justice for all genders. We want it all, and we're not settling for less. We're in a moment here of social imagination. Social imagination. We need to imagine the future that we collectively want. And then we need to build that shit. In this future, we've got each other's backs. We've got each other's backs. We think together. We work together. Sometimes we argue together. That's okay too. And we're going to create together. And here's the thing I want to convince you of today. There you go. I want you to be confident. I want you to be confident in us. Not in me or you. I want you to be confident in us.
My great pleasure to welcome you to your Buffalo City Hall and Niagara Square. I want to thank the organizers of the second annual Women's March for their leadership and their tenacity. Let's give them a great big round of applause. Thank you, Vicki Ross. Thank you, organizers. The Western New York Peace Center. It's important to have a peace center in every city in America. And as mayor, I am here to stand with you against sexism, against racism, against xenophobia. And while this is the second annual Women's March, this is not new to the people of Buffalo and Western New York. When the president enacted a law to stop immigrants and refugees from being able to come to this country, you marched and you came to Buffalo City Hall to speak out against that. When we saw the terrible acts of white supremacists in Charlottesville, you came to City Hall and you marched and you spoke out and you showed your anger. It is great to see so many women and men here in solidarity to speak out against discrimination in all of its forms. Sexism, racism, being against people because their national origin, their sexual orientation, their gender expression, their gender. We have to stand against those things as Americans, and you are here to do that. I want you to know, as your mayor and working with many elected officials that you have put in office, we will stand with you, the people of Buffalo and Western New York. We will stand against what we're seeing in Washington and the White House, and we will take our country back from hate. So Women's March, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your tenacity. Thank you for your solidarity. Know that people all across Buffalo and Western New York support you and stand with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Byron Brown. Thank you. I feel as Yaguanis was talking, I feel filled with gratitude right now. For all of you, for all the strength, all the courage, all the still resisting, persisting truth and love that is going to get us where we want to go. So now I need to tell people we're going to start marching soon. So because we are so many, we've been given the street, but we've also had to have a little change in our route. So bend on everything except on principle. We are very happy and pleased to be going straight down Delaware, and there'll be peacekeepers who will help guide you. But we're going straight down Delaware. We'll stop in front of the holding center. Then we'll be going down Church, or going east on Church, stop in front of the Rath building, and then we'll be in front of the police station and the Homeless Jesus, and then come around and come right back on the north side of the square, court over to the north side, back to here, and then we still have more of a program. So we wanted to ask first, there's somebody who has a Peace Center banner. We'd love to have you go ahead and be in the front, but especially people in groups that feel that they're not represented or that are in any way, not in the speakers list. And we only have a very limited number, 6 speakers coming, and then a few elected officials will be invited to speak as well at the end. So if you're feeling that your group may not be represented, be sure to get in the front. We're also going to have Darylyn Spruce help us with drumming, and other people who like to drum, come ahead up here. There's a couple of instruments. Or please, we all have hands. You can clap, you can stomp, and we'll be walking, marching, chanting, working together, because we shall overcome. Okay, so I think maybe what's going to be easiest is if people in the middle can sort of hold on for a minute. We're going to have people sort of move to the front over by the corner by Delaware, where Delaware starts going south. So you can follow Diana Patton. She's on her way, and we're all on our way. So we're all in this together. We're on our way to the promised land. Hallelujah. Alhamdulillah. Om Shanti.
What we're doing? Go ahead, say so. If you want to, Christina App, Western New York. Okay. This is Christina App with Western New York Media, sponsored by GCW Capital. As you've been watching, this is the Women's Solidarity March, Western New York. Some rousing singing, great songs by the Peace Choir, and now everyone gathered is going to move out to the march. It's a huge crowd. They had anticipated 1,000. They have way over 1,000 people here. They're all the way over to the other side of the monument at Niagara Square. It sounds like because of the numbers, they are shortening the route of the march. We're going to do our best to get out there and be with it and follow it a little bit and let you hear from some of the people that are marching. So stay tuned, don't go away. Stay with our live feed, and we will keep you posted.
I'm going to stay here for a minute. Actually, no.
How about if we get over? Let's go to the holding center.
Yeah.
Before you guys move,
Oh, hey.
Bird.
How are you?
I tried to hold you last week, but it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
We were so busy with this.
I know. There's a lot going on.
I'm Christina App. Nice to meet you.
I heard all about you.
Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. No, I heard you're great at what you do.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I'll get to the two of you sometime. It'd be great.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know James?
Yeah, we work together.
You kind of help me out a bit, so it'd be great if you set something up. Absolutely. It's not about you. Oh, you're busy. All right, yes, sir.
So let's go to holding center. If we get ahead of them, we can get them coming down. Just not
I'm going to try and... All right, guys. So this is going to be tough, challenging, but we'll do it.
That's right.
So I'm just going to try and stay live, because if I stop going live, there's issues. We're just gonna keep walking. So bear with us. Alright. Oh, and now they want pictures. Alright, real quick, pictures. So, hold on, your camera. There it is. That's me. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're walking towards the holding center. Alright, so we'll just go through. We're just gonna keep going. Walk through the crowd, how's that? Okay. We're just gonna get a head start.
Center. They're doing something a little different with the march here. They're stopping at a number of locations, and at each location there will be someone stationed, a speaker stationed. I know Betty Jean Grant will speak. Karima Amin is a speaker. So it'll be interesting. They've got so many people, they'll never catch up to the speakers, but hopefully we can get you close enough that you'll be able to hear them.
You got a little room. I wouldn't go too far. Like in the middle here. We'll get her later.
That happened yesterday in Seneca Falls, and the diversity. There are women, there are men, there are children, babies, all ages, all gender choices, and ethnicities. Even a dog. And we didn't see any puppies yesterday. That's good. Buffalo steps it up for the animals. We talked to a young lady earlier getting ready for the march, and we asked why she marched, and her face turned very red, and I thought she was going to just giggle. But she stopped and composed herself and gave us some really good answers about wanting to have equality for everyone. It was impressive, and I think the kids that are here feel that way. So they're trying to listen and learn and be activists, which is pretty amazing. All right, we're going to move down to the holding center. We'll be back in a minute. You'll be able to see it, and then hopefully you'll be able to hear Betty Jean Grant speak there.
Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Go home! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Go home! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Go home! This is what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! This
sorry, I'm trying to give them a view as I'm walking. It's hard to do both. Ah! Right here. My headphone is stuck in my glasses. Woo. Sorry, Phil. Yeah.
Now calling Karima Amin. Here's calling Karima Amin. Karima Amin. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Yeah.
So we're at the first stop of the Women's Solidarity Western New York March. It's at the Erie County Holding Center. They're looking for Karima Amin, who is a jail rights activist. Here she comes. She's also a storyteller. She will speak here. Hi, Karima.
This is what democracy looks like. Hello. Welcome. Thank you. Keep moving in. Keep fill up the block, please. Fill up the whole block. There's a lot more people in the back. Keep walking to the end of the block. Keep walking to the end of the block. Keep walking to the end of the block. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Keep walking to the end of the block. Right. We'll try to get everybody on this block. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Testing, testing. This is what democracy. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Take off your coat. This is what democracy looks like. Keep going. This is what democracy looks like. Keep moving. There's a lot of people back here. This is what democracy looks like. Thank you. This is what democracy looks like. 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 Wow. This is what democracy looks like. 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 Thank you so much. Okay.
Hi, Joan. I know Joan. How are you? Oh,
We can
sorry.
push them all in. Okay, so we're going to light these. So I'm
Again, honored to introduce friend and community leader and just wonderful, loving, giving, courageous person that our dear Karima Amin is. Karima Amin. Karima Amin. Ashe. Ashe. Karima Amin has been fighting this fight in so many ways for the good of people, for the good of us all, for true justice, for true loving and caring for each other. As a coordinator and founder of Prisoners Are People Too, and wonderful, courageous leader that she is. We're going to please give a welcoming hand to
Testing 1 and 2.
We got a full
All right, I heard somebody call my name, and I appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being a part of this demonstration. Resistance is the name of the game, and Prisoners Are People Too has been resisting oppression since 2005 in this city and right here at this place.
Right.
Our efforts in activism really started with what was happening here at the Erie County Holding Center. Unfortunately, what was happening in 2009, when we had our first rally and our first march, is still happening now. Death is on the inside, behind these walls. Lies behind these walls. No transparency behind these walls. And if you read a recent Buffalo News article, Matt Spina wrote about the deposition that Sheriff Howard was asked 68 questions, and all he could say was, I don't know. Whatever they asked him, all he could say was, I don't know, just like a 2-year-old. And it's been that way for too many years. 8 years as undersheriff, 12 years as sheriff of this county, and 4 more years that we, unfortunately, some of us, elected him to.
I didn't.
Me either. That has to stop. And we have to continue to fight for the people behind these walls and behind so many walls. Prisoners Are People Too. That's the name of my organization. We believe that prisoners are deserving of humane and professional treatment, and that has to happen now. People know about Erie County. People know about Erie County and this sheriff all over the state. Unfortunately, so many men and women end up here, and before they realize what's going on, I have 1 more minute to say what I need to say, and that is the racism behind this wall has got to stop. The lack of humane and professional treatment has got to stop.
Right.
We have been fighting for people who have no money, fighting for people with mental health issues, fighting for people who deserve to be treated like human beings. Imagine your mother behind these walls, or your grandfather, or your child. We talk to so many people every week who are suffering on the outside and the inside, and that suffering has to end. We have to continue the fight every single day and not be afraid to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was Karima Amin. If you're not familiar with Karima, she's the founder of a group called Prisoners Without Walls. It's about a group to help keep prisoners from people who have been released from prison from going back again. She is a staunch activist against the holding center and the deaths and the problems that are going on behind it. At the same time, she's also been a storyteller and is known throughout Buffalo and the cultural community for her talents there as well. So the march moves on, continuing to go down.
I think we'll meet up at the Rath.
They're going to go, they'll be next to the Rath building. So we're going to cut across and we will be back. You probably won't see that live, but don't go away. Hang in another 10 minutes or so. We should be there, and you can see the next speaker. Christina after Western New York Media. Thanks to GCW Capital Group for sponsoring this broadcast.
I thought Alright, I'm going to try and cut through the crowd and go around to the other side of the march. Bear with us, people. We will walk. Let's see. Here, wait, get on the street. Yeah, okay. Pug again. I love it. You gotta see the pug. Always time for a pug. Oh no. We're just gonna go right through the crowd.
Thanks.
Wow.
Going against the march right now. This is Christina with Western New York Media. This is the tail end of the march that doesn't seem to end. They're on their way and walking down Delaware, and they're going to go up Division and come up Franklin and go to County Hall. And we thought we'd just go against the march and cut over, but the march is still going on. I'd really like to estimate. I have no idea. They thought 1,000 people.
Idea.
You got an idea, Mark?
No, there's at least a couple thousand people.
I would say it's double. Well, I don't know. Seneca Falls claims they had 15,000 people yesterday. Those are the numbers we were told. Buffalo was looking for 1,000. We've certainly outdone 1,000. There's got to be close to 3,000-4,000 people here. I don't know what they had for last year. Do you?
They said 4,000.
So, which is impressive that they've stayed in the same or gotten more than they were last year, right? So, can I go talk?
Yeah, might as well.
Will you talk to me? What's your name?
It's Eleanor.
Eleanor, where do you live?
I live.
Christina, move over.
I live on Summer Street.
Do you?
Christina, move
So,
over.
tell me about your rainbow bear. Why did you bring your rainbow bear to the march?
Well, it makes meows.
Mora. We're here because we like to see more women in charge and in politics.
And would you run?
I run? Sure, why not? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Mama love for president. Yes, girl. Future leaders.
Oh, we are coming to the end. I can see the end of the march. Progress.
Want to walk?
Yeah, we're going to walk. We're going to cut over to the Rath building because the front of the march is going to be there shortly.
Okay. Okay. We're going to cut through. So we're going to leave the march for a second and just head over to the next stop, which is the Rath building. So bear with us for a couple minutes. Talk amongst yourselves. You should be meeting up with them in a block.
And again, this is Western New York Media.
We are.
And we're grateful to GCW Capital Group.
Absolutely.
They've done the whole weekend for us. And the whole week before, we did interviews with the organizers of Seneca Falls and Buffalo's marches. And we posted those all week. And then yesterday at Seneca Falls and this broadcast today.
Uh-oh.
We off?
One of the batteries is dead. Yours?
I'm
Is it on?
No, I'm off.
Oh, that's okay.
So is the mic going to be...
Turn it on. There you go. It can still pick us up.
Okay, good. So, imagine our poor camera guy, Mark Odian, who's the head of Western New York Media, carrying the camera, walking, and trying to talk at the same time. So we are earning our keep today. It's not a bad day. We're grateful it's not raining or snowing. So it would be nice if the sun were out. Yesterday in Seneca Falls was beautiful, but we're going to take it. The front of the march is already down at County Hall. And we're working our way down there. You might be able to see it now through the camera. I don't know who the next speaker is going to be, but Betty Jean Grant was certainly in the front of the pack. So I would think, especially since she's been a county legislator for so long, this would be an obvious spot for her to have her say. Buffalo City Police, by order of the mayor today, have given the streets over to this march, which I think is pretty impressive. I don't know of many, aside from parades for St. Patrick's Day and Veterans Day, I don't know of many times when they allow the streets to be closed down for an event. Okay, so just to give you some perspective, for those of you who know downtown Buffalo, the marchers are now lined up along Church Street. They are on the sidewalk here. And the front of the march appears to be all the way up to Pearl. And the end is still all the way down Franklin and wound around back onto Delaware. It's as far as you can see it. And again, on Church, they have people on the sidewalks. Actually, they have them on the one side of the street. And literally as far as you can see people. Blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, 5 blocks around the corner. And again, all ages, all ethnicities, diversities, genders, and smiling, peaceful. We were at D.C. last year, and it was the same type of atmosphere, kindness, quiet. How are you? Consideration for the people around you. There's no pushing. There's no shoving. There's no anger. It's just people coming together to try to make a difference. It's remarkable, really.
it makes you proud to be from this community. Hey, how are you?
The short and the tall of it. Hey, girl.
Hey, good. How you doing? Wait, you want to talk to me? We're live on Western New York Media right now.
Yep.
So this is Ann
Converso
from
North Collins.
Right, but the
CWA.
There we go.
Terry Ligursky, CWA Local 1133.
So are you ladies marching as union reps, or are you marching as women? Like, why are you here today?
I'm marching as a woman. I'm not marching for my union, although my union believes in the things that I do. But I would say to you that this year has been a horrible year for women. This year has been a horrible year for women. All the safety nets that we had, even as workers and protections, he has rolled back in executive orders, and no one is paying attention to that because he's acting so crazy on TV and on his tweets. To me, it's been a very rough year for everybody. So I'm marching as not only a woman, but a worker and a person concerned about other people.
Excellent. And Terry, today, why are you marching?
Ditto!
No, come on. You can do better than that. I know you are an excellent speaker.
Oh, I thank you very much. I'm honored to be here, honored to be a part of it. Certainly we're here to show solidarity for the women's movement, but we're just here because there's so much wrong going on. And look at this. Look at the numbers we can bring out.
I'm stunned. We were at Seneca Falls yesterday. They said they had 15,000 people. This is pretty impressive.
It's very impressive, yes.
Yeah, and you look at it, I mean, there's older people, there's little kids on people's backs. People are concerned not only about policies, but I mean the rhetoric and the nastiness. I mean, and I'm not a big, huggy, lovey person, but the nastiness that's been around is so awful to me. It's really beyond the pale.
And what's so impressive of marches last year and this year, the atmosphere. It's so peaceful, it's so considerate and thoughtful. It's amazing.
Yep, and that's the way. Why can't we just live like that? Okay, and have, as somebody said, we can disagree. Terry and I don't always disagree, or always agree, but we talk about it, and you can present your points and have an argument without calling people such nasty, vile names and doing such. Did you see the TV commercial that came out today?
No.
The TV commercial that came out today by President, and I don't say his last name, I'm with John Muty on that, I do not say his name, okay, said that because Schumer shut the government down over DACA, every murder that occurs because of an illegal immigrant now is on his shoulders. That is vile.
Well, and that's the nice thing about being here today, because generally there's no politics in any of these marches. It's all about making a difference, and I'm grateful for that because the politics is overwhelming.
And I think people should, whether we agree on who we vote for, people should be registered and vote.
All right, ladies, we're going to move on because they're going to be a speaker now, but it was so great to see you.
Good to see you, Christina.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
Take care. All right, so we are going to move up. Did you see Chris? Sorry, but when you broadcast in your own hometown, right, there are people that you know, and you're stopping to see them and talk to them, and there's such a sense of pride that this march is happening like this. Good. Chris, how are you? We're talking to Chris Smith, one of the original founders of Western New York Media.
I was?
Yeah, it's nice to see you. What's new?
I'm building breweries now.
I hear that. But why are you here today, Chris?
Just a general support for women in our community. I think, as men in America, we can't stay silent anymore. We have to come out when these times require. And I don't know, I think it's a special day to see this many people out. And, it's like bring our kids here and show them what's right.
And when they're done, they'll go to Community Brew Works and get a beer.
They will.
Thanks for stopping. So do we want to move up and try to hear who's going to speak? Or oh, they went up to Main Street now. Well, they were supposed to go around.
They did have a couple of road changes.
Well, because of their stopping traffic. And if we sound disorganized, we're really sorry. But because of the numbers, this march is changing as the march moves down the street because the police cannot manage them all in one place. So I think the idea of stopping and having speakers has completely gone out the window. They've now, again, I can see the end of the line now finally is right at Delaware and Church Street. The rest of the line, the beginning of it is somewhere down Main Street. I don't even know how far. So I'm not sure where we're going to go or how we're going to move on here, but we will continue to broadcast live. You just may not hear us talking all the time.
Good, how are you? Alright, so I think we just go this way because they're going to come back tonight, I guess.
Yeah, but you guys can't keep broadcasting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to do.
I think you've got to go up because otherwise we're going to show this. We don't want to turn it off. We got to go up.
Alright, let's.
We got to go.
Alright, we'll go.
We got to go. We're not going to stop. I will be editing for days. Like a famous slide. Are you? Is my guy?
No.
This is on?
I got that one's on. That's fine. Yeah. Guys, we should probably cut across. Sorry, folks. We're going to cut up and meet up with the front again. So bear with us for a couple seconds, and we'll be right with you. Okay, it's Christina Abt and Mark Odian back with Western New York Media.
We cut down because the march route has been changed pretty dramatically, and we're trying to catch up and get you where you can see what's happening. I think you can probably see the march. The beginning of the march has just come down Court Street. So they've shut out, they took them up Main Street and then down Court, and they'll go straight back to Niagara Square. But now you should get an idea of the scope, because you just saw the very beginning of the march, and now you're going to see all these people start filtering down, and we've been talking about it as we've been cutting through, and I don't know how many thousands of people here, and I don't know if the police have an idea or not, but I'm sure there'll be a number before we're done. There's drones up in the air that will be able to give us an overview and help people maybe estimate the crowds. Seeing a lot of dogs here, which is really interesting. At Seneca Falls yesterday, there were no animals at all. There were kids and men and women and all that stuff, but no animals. And we've seen 3 different dogs here today. And yesterday, there was a lot of conversation about animal rights and making sure animals get fair and equal treatment. So it's fun to see the dogs being part of the whole experience. It's a very cheerful, uplifting atmosphere. There's nobody really angry. You don't hear a lot of anger. You hear frustration, and you hear a desire to come together for people to, if we can get along and march like this today, why can't we get along and make change in our nation? So it's all good. Paul McQuillan, come here. So we have Paul McQuillan with us today. We are on Western New York Media, and we're broadcasting on Facebook Live thanks to GCW Capital Group, who sponsored this.
Great, thank you.
Paul McQuillan, tell us your title.
Well, I'm the Upstate Coordinator for New Yorkers Against Gun Violence, but I'm also a member of the Western New York Peace Center and the Buffalo Stop the Violence Coalition.
So you're an active man. You are one of the most active people I know in this community. Why do you march?
The reason I march is I come from a very extensive family. I have 5 sisters, most of whom were affected by the Me Too movement. I have 5 grandchildren, so I look to the future for them. So there's so much that we have to do to stop the hatred, stop the bigotry, as Mayor Brown said, stop the xenophobia. There's so much that has to be done that if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Do you think, I've asked this question all weekend, we were in Seneca Falls yesterday, does marching change anything?
I think it makes people more aware. I think it unites people. I think that, but for this march, most of us would be sitting home right now watching CNN or Fox or whatever our persuasion is.
Or the football game.
Or the football games. But this shows that we're willing to stand up and take a stance and do something positive, affirmative, and something that's going to resonate through not only this community, but communities across the country.
Did you march last year?
I marched last year, yes.
Here?
Yes, in Buffalo.
Tell me, is this different?
I think it's different. I think last year it was more a feeling of desperation, kind of defeatism. I think this year we're more challenged, we're more upbeat, we're more invigorated. We know that 2018 is here, and we just have to look to the midterms, and we can make a change in this country. And it starts here on the streets of Buffalo, Wyoming County. We just have to get off the couch and do something.
Is this a bigger crowd?
I believe so. And if it's not bigger, it's more motivated. There are more signs. They're better chanting. It's better organized. It's enjoyable this year.
Thanks, Paul McQuillan.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. So it's Western New York Media again with Mark Odian. We are live broadcasting Women's Solidarity March, Western New York. We were in Seneca Falls yesterday broadcasting their Women March 2018. It's quite an experience. I have lived in this community all my life and not sure I've ever seen anything quite like this before. Mark, you've done a lot of media reporting over the years. What's your impression of this?
This is probably the biggest march I've seen locally here in Buffalo, by far. I mean, I can't remember anything, even last year. It seems like we've surpassed last year. I don't know why, but it just feels that way. Just the amount of people, it's amazing to see all these people out here.
Sweet little girl. Well, I mean, to me, it's just It's who we are. It's what we've talked about for years. It's a Buffalo style about us. If we go all out. There's no holding back. We do it, and we do it with strength and vigor and care and passion, and it's inspiring. This community continues to inspire. Oh, look at these moms with their babies sound asleep. Oh, sweet. So again, people are saying that we're at the march last year talking about how it's a little different feel. There was a lot of frustration last year and anger, and this year it's more about positive feelings and trying to make a difference. And look at a dog. We didn't see any dogs yesterday at Seneca Falls. That's so awesome. It's really exciting to see those things. Yeah. Who've we got? Hi. Hi, Sean Bunny. Nice to see you. So you are one of 5 candidates running for the New York State, for Congress in the 27th District. But politics aside, because today isn't about politics, why do you march?
Because we want to show respect for everybody, and today is about showing respect for women, men, any of our groups out there, and we just want to show that we're supportive and we don't like what's going on in Washington right now.
Do you think marches matter in your experience?
They do. They show a lot of grassroots support out there. I mean, we have several thousand people that are showing that they're not happy with what's going on in Washington. So that should send a message to anybody.
Thanks for stopping, Sean. You're welcome. Okay, so let's start walking. We're going to start walking back down towards City Hall. We'll continue to give you a viewpoint of the people coming. I mean, as you have been viewing this is. I don't even know where the end is. This probably isn't even halfway of the people that are marching. So we're going to walk. I got to talk to this lady. Can you walk so I can talk to this lady? Wait, can I talk to you? Hi, I'm from Western New York Media. Will you talk to me? So tell me your name.
Mary.
Where are you from? Mary, you've got these pink pom-pom thingies in your head. And so why do you march today?
This has been a big eye-opener for me that Trump was elected in the first place and that so many people are behind him. And I feel like I need to learn how government works because I was oblivious. And I'm just shocked that someone like this can be our president. It's such a step backwards for our country, our respect in the rest of the world.
So you're kind of the breed of new activist woman that has not been active before.
That is correct, yes.
What's the biggest lesson you're learning in trying to become more aware?
Just that if we don't pay attention, things get away from us, and it's not good.
Is your family surprised at you becoming active?
Some of them.
Did they try to discourage you at all?
Mostly no. Yeah.
Thanks, Mary. All right, so moving on, I know the picture you're seeing is of March. Mark's in the middle of the whole, and we just keep looking at all. I mean, I'm astounded by it. It's amazing. And the smiles, like it's not, I wasn't here in Buffalo last year. I was in D.C., so I wasn't exactly sure what it was going to feel like to be here in my own hometown, and how would we act? And it's respectful. There's absolutely no question. This is not a Bills rally, but it is. It's got a real positive feel to it. And that's a good thing. Because if all these people, as someone said, if all these people can come together and get along in their diversity, maybe we can make change. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Brooke.
Brooke, why are you marching today?
I'm marching for all of the little girls in the world.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
And where do you live?
I live in Fredonia.
Do you go to school there or just live there?
I do go to school in Fredonia.
So tell me, on the campus of a state university for New York, is there a will to make change? Is there a desire to get involved?
There is. There's a very strong community sense in Fredonia. And there's a lot of people that want some change. So I would say yes.
So other than marching, what are you doing to try to make it?
someone for advice.
I don't want you walking out the way around, okay?
Yes, I do. I do. Maybe they could go this way to the election.
You want to live against that or that?
Kind of both.
That's not the idea.
Yakio! Sing with us. This is a women's warrior song.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please give it to our Indigenous sisters. Her sisters. Three sisters.
Okay, we have made it back.
Carolyn and Nikki, please. Andrea Sullivan is ready to go. We have Carrie Horn and Betty Jean Grant. So if you are here, Betty Jean, there she comes. Please give it
You can't affect change without voting. So if you're not registered, see me, call me. My number is 602-5877. I'm giving it to Facebook and all of you because it's so important to affect change. We have midterm election. We have midterm election. And as they say, to paraphrase number 45, we're going to grab them in the midterm. Say it. Grab them in the midterm. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you, Vicki. Let's continue. This shows that we are united on one cause. That's the cause of the people. So for those who say that it is a Democratic shutdown, no, it's not. Who's the president? Say his name. Who's the president? It's a Donald Trump shutdown. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Betty Jean. Please give another huge hand to Betty Jean Grant. I gotta say, the Western New York Peace Center is a 501c3. So we're not about endorsing candidates or parties or any of that. We're about policies and we're about people and the planet. So we need people who are about the people's business. So I just want to ask if Cariel Horn is here. Thank you so much, Betty Jean. If Cariel Horn is here, now's your moment. Okay, so I did mention, and we'll speak to with Cariel, and you can find Cariel's story on the Western New York Peace Center on the Cariel Horn Whistleblower Fund. So that is another thing that you can look for and we can work together on. So in the meanwhile, I'd like to invite Andrea Sullivan of the Partnership for the Public Good, Assistant Director of the Partnership for the Public Good. Thank you so much.
Hello, sister resistors. I'm Andrea from Partnership for the Public Good, and as we stand here between the federal courthouse and the Buffalo City Courthouse, I've been asked to speak about the rule of law and countering militarization. The rule of law, right, is a principle that tells us it is laws that govern our nation, not individual leaders, not individual people. Yes. And we need to ask, who's making our laws now? In the U.S. House of Representatives, it's only 20% women. In the Senate, it's only 20% women. And on the 13th floor of this building in Buffalo Common Council, it's 0 women. That's right, girl. We can do better than that. And this matters because research from all over the world tells us when women are in power, when more women are making the laws, societies are more equal, they're healthier, they have more education, and they're more peaceful. Yes!
Upon us. A reminder of why we're here today, because government works for those who work for the government. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce the Western New York and Upstate Voice in Albany, our favorite candidate, our favorite friend, our favorite woman in Albany, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Vicki. And thank you, people who came out today to make sure your voices are heard. Thank you. Thank you. And before I get all fired up, I do think there's some men we're happy are here. And I'm going to tell you, we have a man who has to get on a plane to go fight for our DACA kids. And that's our great friend, our great Congressman Brian Higgins, who's here with us today. Couple observations. Does anybody really think our government would have shut down at midnight last night if women were in charge of our government? Heck no! Heck no! Wouldn't have happened in a million years. Because guess what, folks? Women know how to get the job done, right? That is our strength. That is our strength. And I'm here to stand with Vicki and the people of the Western New York Peace Center and say, when you talk about the policies that they stand for dignity of all people, and keep giving people rights and gender equality and marriage equality and all the rights we deserve, we need to stand together and elect more women. It was just a year ago, and I'm thinking about my mother, who used to tell me a lot of great wisdom, and she said, for every action, there's a reaction. A year ago, there was an inauguration. I'm not going to tell you the outcome because I really don't want the name on my lips, okay? Not going there. But the reaction was the shot heard around the world when people said, no more. We will stand up for ourselves, and we will stand up for the disaffected. We will stand up for the voiceless. We'll stand up for vulnerable communities, and that's what today is all about. To say, last year was not one-off. This is going to continue. This movement will continue until we make sure that we have policies like we have here in the state of New York under Governor Cuomo and our administration all over America. And I'm talking about the fact that you live in a state that has the most generous paid family leave program in America because we believe in our families. We have the most strongest laws against sexual assault on college campuses in the nation because we believe that when a young woman goes off to college, she should have the right not to be abused. And I will tell you, folks, the beginning of this past year, 2017, we began a great celebration. I was in Seneca Falls 24 hours ago talking about the birthplace of women's rights. Who was there yesterday? Who was there yesterday? And I said we began a journey to make sure that every person in the state of New York knew that this was our legacy. This is on our shoulders to carry on. The movement started in our own state by brave people who went against the tides of their time, who went against their communities, their churches, their families, and fought for 70 years so we could have the privilege to vote. Well, what are we going to do with that legacy? I didn't have the answer. I didn't have the answer at the beginning of 2017 because I've always been haunted by the thought, 100 years from now, when they celebrate the bicentennial of women winning the right to vote, what will they say about us? What did we do to deserve recognition? And I know the answer now. The Me Too movement is going to change society forever. And we are saying, no longer should women in a workplace or elsewhere be degraded, discriminated against, harassed, or assaulted simply because they are women. It's over, it's over, it's over, and it ended here in our country in 2017 and onward into 2018. That is the legacy that our daughters and our granddaughters and great-granddaughters are going to look at us and say, thank you. Thank you. And you are part of something that is just growing and growing and growing. And I am so proud as someone who's crisscrossed the state. I was in Manhattan Friday, Seneca Falls Saturday, but today I'm home. And I am so proud to stand with my fellow Western New Yorkers who have the biggest hearts in America. We fight for other people. It's who we are. And I want to thank you. And thank you and thank you. Don't stop marching. Don't stop running. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Your vote matters like never before. And when you know we can change history by electing more women to office. Women, where are you? Get out there and start running. Thank you.
Lieutenant Governor Hochul, you're always a tough act to follow. Let me ask you a question. Where would you rather be than right here, right now, at this time in this country, when government is supposed to be working for us and it's shut down? We have a friend in Washington, D.C. He's here with us today. He took a flight in from D.C. this morning so he could be here specifically for this event. He's a friend of Buffalo. He's a friend of Western New York. Without further ado, Buffalo boy makes good, Brian Higgins.
Thank you very much, Paul McQuillan and Vicki Ross, my great friend, former colleague, and the pride of Buffalo, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of New York, Kathy Hochul. I'm looking around at the creativity of all these signs and the creative energy of the great people of Buffalo and Western New York. 1 year ago, after 7 years, Republicans in the House and the Senate and the future occupant of the White House said that they were going to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. What did the Affordable Care Act do? It removed copays for preventive care, like contraceptives. Abortion rates are at their lowest rate in 30 years because of the great leadership of organizations like Planned Parenthood right here in Western New York and throughout the nation. People will often be frustrated and say, what can I do? Last year, you were doctors and teachers and students and wives and mothers. Today, you are activists and leaders shaping a new America. "7 years and 7 months trying to take away health care for millions of people. You know, before the Affordable Care Act, an insurance company could deny you coverage if you had a kid who was stuck with childhood cancer. You can't do that anymore. It's the law of the land. And then once they got control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, they tried to take that all away. They said, well, we're not really taking away protection for pre-existing coverage. We're just going to give it to the states and let them issue waivers. That is a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie. So I would remind you on this day, this beautiful day, in this great city, with this extraordinary creativity and energy, that you can make a difference. Every movement in America, the civil rights movement, the labor movement, the women's movement, the environmental movement, none of it came from Washington. It came from the streets of places like Buffalo, New York, that demanded change and politicians responded. The first Earth Day in America was April 22nd, 1970. 20 million people in this nation got out from behind their televisions, went into the streets, went into their parks, went into the rivers that were polluted by industrial poison, and they demanded change. 20 million people. 6 months later, the most progressive environmental laws in the history of America were signed into law by a Republican pro-business president by the name of Nixon, because it passed overwhelmingly in the House and the Senate. People were asked how that occurred. Was Nixon really a closet greenie? Was he a closet environmentalist? They said no. People demanded it, and we had to make the change. That's what this demonstration is all about. That's what this time in our nation is all about. We are the greatest country in the history of the world. We give more opportunity to more people from more places than any place else in the world. But guess what? The world watches us too. They can connect with internet, with Twitter, with everything else. It's not only what you say, but more importantly, what you do. That's what gives you moral authority. And that's the moral authority that I see here today. Thank you for the great work that you're doing. Stick it out. Keep moving. Thank you.
So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul and Congressman Brian Higgins. Please give them a big hand. John. Okay, so this is the part of our program. We said we had some women community leaders to speak, and now we have some elected officials to speak. We also have our dear friend and let's say co-worker working alongside all the groups that are working for peace and justice in every way, Sean Ryan. Sean, would you like to come over here and give us a few words?
Well, it's great to be with all of you today. Look at this crowd here. You should be proud of yourselves. And how about our great Congressman Brian Higgins and our terrific Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul? So who was here a year ago? And who came out in the last year to stand up and march with immigrants and refugees? And who came out to stand and march with their friends from the LGBTQ community? And who is here today to say we will not go backwards? We are a progressive nation. That's what we are about. So we hit a big bump in the road. We know who that big bump is, right? But we are prepared to keep going forward. We're going to go around that big bump, and we're going to continue to realize the progressive vision in America. And guess what we're all going to do next November? And what are we going to get out of it? Are we going to get a new House of Representatives? Are we going to tell Paul Ryan to go back to Wisconsin? And how about the Senate? Are we going to take the Senate over? Are we going to say goodbye to Mitch? Are we going to keep working together with all the community and all the voices, not just here in Buffalo, Western New York, New York State, but the entire United States of America? And one more time, are we going to go forward or are we going to go backwards? And we're all going to go forward together. Thank you so much for coming out today. It's terrific to see everybody. We're going to keep fighting together.
So, what I like to do now is we're inviting elected officials who are here to come and share just a few words with us. And one of them who's here is Nate McMurray, who is the supervisor at Grand Island. So I'd like to invite Nate up to share why he's here and how he's supporting these policies, which we know he is.
I'll get down in a second because today is a Women's Day and you don't want to see me up here. So, and my little boy who's here, who I'm proud to be here with me, said to me, Dad, there's a lot of women here today. And there certainly is. But how much tension do you feel in your stomach since the last year, since the last election? Do you feel that tension every day? Do you feel the sadness that we're losing what we thought America was? Do you feel like we're being trapped in a really bad reality TV show? Well, I do too. And one thing I want to say, this gentleman's got an American flag here. Can I see that American flag? Let's remember, this is our flag too. Do not let anyone steal this flag for us. America is our country. Are you with me? I'm running against Chris Collins in this November's election. The one thing I want to say to you all, grab them by the midterms.
Thank you, Nate.
So I want to say, when I see a flag, I want to see a flag that represents peace, that represents justice, true justice, not just us, that represents nonviolence, courage, and yes, truth and love. That's what our flag needs to be. That's what our flag needs to be. So we have to live up to that. That's what we're working for. So are there any other elected officials who would like to say a word? I know, I thought I heard that there was one. And I want to say, any elected official that has a word they want to say, now's your chance. Okay, you've had your chance. Anyway, because we know it is truth, unarmed truth. Say it. Unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. Power with, not power over. And we unite the struggles. Thank you all so much for coming here. If there's anyone from March for Science that's still here, I know they wanted to make an announcement before. They're welcome to make it now. If you couldn't hear Kelly Kowalski before, I want to say that we have the Truth Commission on poverty is this Thursday. There's events all the time, because this is not just a flash in the pan. This is not one event or one incident. This is uniting the struggles and building a movement and changing the world, really. Another world is possible. It is. It's possible, and it's happening. It's happening. Look around you. I'm so thrilled. Look around you. Spend some time with each other before we leave. I want to urge you to go to wnypeace.org to see some of these wonderful events that are happening. Include March for Science or other groups. A lot of allies, our 35 co-sponsors. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your signs. Thank you for your truth and love. We shall overcome. Si se puede. Juntos. Harambe. Together. We're all together. Hallelujah. Alhamdulillah. Om Shanti. Yahweh. Say no. One last. Say no. Thank you.
So that's it. We're wrapping up Resist Weekend. It's been a long weekend, 2018. This is Western New York Media, Mark Odian and me. I'm Christina App. We're very grateful to GCW Capital Group. They are a financial advisor group out in Hamburg. And when we came to them and talked to them about this broadcast, they were more than happy to be the exclusive sponsor of all we've done throughout the week and today and yesterday. So if you want to see the interviews with the organizers of Buffalo March and Seneca Falls March, you can go to westernnewyorkmedia.net. All the interviews are there that we broadcast through the week, plus some interviews from Seneca March yesterday, and then all this live feed will be there. It's been a pretty inspiring weekend, and I guess the only thing we can really say is thank you. Thank you for watching. We know that there have been thousands of you that have turned out and watched this live feed, and we're grateful. And we encourage you all to continue to look to Western New York Media to bring you the stories that impact our community and our world. Thank you again to GCW Capital, and thank you for watching. This is Christina App, live for Western New York Media.